What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility, and where I see things going. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, this week is going to be very volatile. Beginning part of the week, it's going to be relatively quiet data point wise. So you do see nothing really coming out on Monday or Tuesday. But on Wednesday, you do see the dreaded CPI. On Thursday, PPI, initial jobless claims, FOMC meeting minutes as well on Wednesday. A lot of Fed speakers. So a lot of those data points, pretty much actually all of them in fact, could really move the market. And through that, obviously Lucid as well. Fear and greed index is relatively high still, so at 61. So people's appetite for risk is still there. So if there is a good piece of news that does come out, you could see the market naturally propelling that stock higher, as what we've seen with Lucid in the past. And there might be something, in fact, coming out for Lucid this week. And going into this week, though, as far as companies unveiling their earnings, you are going to have banks. Banks kicking off earnings on Friday. So typically, that does cause a hell of a lot of volatility across the whole market, if negative. If positive, then it usually just sticks to the whole just banking sector itself, not necessarily outside of that. But regardless, though, Friday is going to be a big day for companies unveiling their earnings. And so when it comes down to specific news for Lucid, there isn't any events, no conferences they're participating in for this upcoming week, but technically, though, they might actually be unveiling their Q1 production and delivery numbers. Historically, if we look at what time or when they did it last year, they did it on April 13th. April 13th is a Saturday. So logically, they might move it up a day to the 12th or potentially push it back, or just might not even do it. They can do it whenever the hell they want. But typically, Lucid is a creature of habit. You can kind of see that based off of all of their filings and everything like that. They like to just relentlessly stay on track, on time, use the same kind of benchmark and things like that. So maybe this week we will be finding out the Q1 production and delivery numbers just to see exactly what they are. And if positive, then this is where, again, you're going to see the market naturally propel Lucid higher. And plus, even based off of Lucid's technicals. But in reality, I feel like the beginning part of the week might be somewhat positive for EVs, only because Tesla, even though Tesla was selling off on Friday due to the rumors about them cutting that lower priced vehicle, but Elon did since come out and said that was completely fake, and maybe just to divert attention and maybe spin it in a positive, he did post this on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Tesla Robotaxi unveil on August the 8th. Doesn't actually say what year, so I think it's assumed that it's this year. Kind of comical for that. But you know what? I think that's a very good thing for definitely Tesla. And through Tesla, it might actually trickle down to a lot of the EVs, because this could be seen as, if Tesla is expanding, then you know what? Maybe the EV sector is a little bit better off than what the broader market is really anticipating. So again, that could be something. And just to throw back this, it's been a while. I think this came out October 21st, 2021. But even Peter did say that robo-taxi fleets on road likely 10 years away. So that's kind of a good thing. At least it's on Lucid's radar, essentially. They haven't actually come out and said no to that, as what they've done with ESS and that lower priced vehicle for that $25,000 vehicle. But maybe robotaxis might be a fairly good thing going forward. As far as shorts, so going into this upcoming week, 29.59% of the free float is being shorted. Utilization is at 100% and short score is 91.94. 17 million shares overall are being shorted. And then cost to borrow average is 30.01%. So as I've said in the past, just looking at the true numbers on here, this is a squeeze play. The only thing it could and does need is a surprise catalyst. So essentially, if Lucid comes out with maybe surprisingly better than anticipated Q1 numbers, then you could see a nice little pop up in the stock price. So let me know your thoughts on that. On the flip side, though, with a lot of the data points coming out, especially based on what Powell recently said and how they're going to be monitoring a lot of the data, for instance, if PPI or initial jobless claims or anything else does come out very negative, you're going to see shorts continue to jump all over Lucid. Because one thing I just wanted to draw your attention to is, even though shorts have kind of pulled back slightly from the all-time high of 29.75. It's not that big of a difference compared to what it is now, but a lot of other EV stocks, you've had a significant pull down in shorts by probably about 5 to 10%. So they've been returning quite a lot. In Lucid, they haven't. They've been maintaining. So they haven't been increasing over this last little bit. You can kind of see based off of the chart right here. But regardless though, this is still something to keep in mind, that if the data outside or on a macro level is negative, then you're going to see shorts once again jump all over Lucid, and that in turn could really hurt Lucid stock price, especially considering it is just inches away on Friday from that new 52-week and all-time low. So let me know your thoughts on that. As far as options expiring, this is all the open interest. So with April the 5th now behind us, you do see roughly about 3,000, but with it at $2.61, you'll want to watch this S2 to hold. So it exactly landed. It was able to kind of recover from that. So we do know that S2 is a very good support, but still, if it does break below that, then this is where it will be essentially in free fall, a new 52-week and all-time low, because it will be trading between this 237 and 260. So let me know your thoughts on that. Based off of Friday, at least, it didn't really even attempt this S1, and nor did pretty much this whole past week. It didn't really have any upward momentum. It was just kind of getting beaten down left, right, and center. So there's been a lot of selling happening with Lucid, and like I said, it is linked to essentially just them not really putting out substantial news. And maybe it might be associated, or maybe the gravity might be able to help, but it still is in Lucid's court. Like, Lucid does need to do something, and I really hope that they're not that dumb to not realize that they have a very big influence on the stock price. So silence right now is really hurting them, but with their upcoming Q1 earnings right around the corner, maybe this might be the saving grace. But in my opinion, based off of the interim CFO, when he did say during the last earnings, which was already a month and a half into Q1, he said Q1 numbers weren't good, tentatively, even though we don't speak on obviously forward data and stuff like that. So I think in reality, Q1 numbers might not necessarily be the exact best, but hopefully they'll give some good guidance. Again, we just kind of have to hope at this stage. It's all in management's hands. Looking right here on the actual chart though, it is lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. And so right now, if there is a good piece of news, like I said, then you will see a rush of value investors, because stochastic is at 13, so that is considered very oversold. But despite that though, you do see a bearish deviation, so red line above the white. Number of retail investors on Friday were slowly getting out. So institutions haven't been buying Lucid for a while now, and retail has been, as you can kind of see, with the exception of Friday. So maybe they're taking profits or something else, because Lucid, yeah, I think a lot of people see a lot of upside, but they need some positive stuff to come out from the company. The market, like if someone saw Lucid stock price and comparing this to the S&P, they would automatically think like, what the hell is wrong with this company? Why is this company at 52-week lows when the S&P is at all-time highs? Just something does not jive. And this is one thing I have been saying that is kind of worrying, because let's say the market does take a downtrend and starts to kind of pull back on a larger scale, of course. Well, what happens to stocks such as Lucid? They get massacred. Even though maybe at that time Lucid does finally start to put out some substantial news, you can't fight against the broader market. If institutions are selling off on a larger scale, like there's not much anyone can do. And so Lucid has done that quite a lot in the past. They decide to put out some epic news during a sell-off, market sell-off. So it kind of just ends up 1% in the green, versus if they decided to do it like, let's say a month ago, then that would result in like a 20% green day. Like, it's just very unfortunate. Lucid isn't really good at planning, but like a lot of people know about Lucid management, they are very, very smart, not business savvy. So I think it kind of goes, maybe they need to add some business experienced essentially to their management team. But let me know your thoughts on Lucid. But as far as this upcoming week though, with everything, all the data points, and them potentially even putting out their Q1 delivering production numbers, I do feel that Lucid is still just going to be either stagnant, if not negative. The trend is kind of set for Lucid right now, so I do feel even best case scenario, it'll just trade between this S1 and the pivot. So Even though if data is good and they put out their numbers and is better than anticipated, I don't see it getting back into the threes. Unfortunately, I feel like there is more downside than anything. So realistically, I think it is going to be trading between this S3 and this S2. So meaning a new 52-week and all-time low, which that does pain me to say because I really do like Lucid. I want them to succeed. Just when I'm reading the data and the charts and what might be coming, I give you unbiased viewpoints on that, despite me having a position and everything like that. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Of course, with this upcoming week though, with it transitioning possibly below that 250 mark, this is where you could stand to benefit from options. So highly suggest in researching them. One final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for an account with Moo, throw $100 at it, and they do give you 7 fractional shares of the 𝗪𝗧7. So take advantage of this. It does have a $35 total value, so that's pretty good return on investment for just throwing $100 at a new account. So with all that, appreciate all of you watching, and let's all eventually make a lot of money on Lucid.